So Jeremy, the traditional sponsorship model has evolved into branded content over the last few years. How has this evolution occurred and why are advertisers more attracted to branded content now?
Yeah, Dom, good question, and it definitely has evolved over time. And I think a good way to answer that is to understand what's been going on in terms of the way consumers interact with content. So there's a model that I like to refer to. It's a conversation catalyst model. And essentially you've got communities, you've got a currency, and you've got content that becomes a catalyst for conversations within that. So 4 C's, pretty easy to remember. And essentially what happens is, whether you're in the virtual world or you're in the real world, communities form around common areas of interest, and quite often content is that common area of interest. So to me, content as a catalyst is something that advertisers are more and more understanding they can tap into and get people talking about their brands and stories about their brands, more so than just, I guess, straight advertising.
So it's kind of about bringing the consumer into the positive conversations that occur around content. In terms of the approach to branded content, how it differs to the approach to traditional advertising, media organisations in this country across that, is that something we still need to learn a bit, those differences?
I think media organisations are getting there, because at the heart of a media organisation, it's about creating compelling content for your audience. I think my advice to an advertiser would be, you need to enable the storytelling to take place, and you need to think about the consumer and why it is that they'd engage with your content.
So when it comes to branded content, there's examples like Countdown with MasterChef, where it exists within the show, but then there's also specifically made videos like The Mix or Tech in a Sec. What are the key differences to these two main approaches?
One of the key differences is degree of control. So when you're in the program environment where we're producing content that goes to hundreds of thousands, and we've got a story that we want to tell primarily around the program and the program format, then there's less control that an advertiser would have in terms of incorporating and integrating into that content. And then if you're going into the space like The Mix or Made to Match, you have much greater degree of control. And so with a greater degree of control, you have greater certainty of message, greater ownership of that message, and so you can dictate a little more in terms of specifically how your brand's going to be represented. So it really comes down to degree of control.